Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. I'm Chris, joined by my brothers Adam
Hello.
and Eric.
Hello.
We are back in the room once more to give our take on the shit we like, because that's just what we do here. And this week's episode, we have a lot to cover, including the Tokyo Game Show, which happened last week. We've got an acquisition with Bluepoint Games. We found out the winner of IGN's bracket tournament, and we probably should have placed a bet on it. And we've seen No Time to Die, Daniel Craig's final James Bond outing. And so we are going to be giving our thoughts on that. It'll be non-spoiler, so don't worry. However, if we do decide to get into the heat of it and start giving spoilers, we'll give a fair warning, okay? But we would never, ever land that on you without a fair warning. But for the most part, no, we're definitely going to be giving our non-spoiler thoughts on it. Because we know that it's not out everywhere simultaneously at the moment. Yeah, I don't think it's out in the USA just yet. I think they're getting a little bit later. And also, it's harder in the pandemic setting for people to go to the cinemas. So not everyone will have seen this movie yet. So we don't want to totally ruin it on anyone. But at the same time, we feel like we need to talk about it, and we haven't actually spoken about it with each other yet. So I'm actually just fucking curious even what the guys think about the movie. I have no idea, and I don't know if they know how I felt about the movie. So we're going to get around to that too. But if you are going to be watching this on YouTube, then we'd love you to join in on the discussion. So at any point, you can jump down into the comments, share your thoughts, and if you enjoy this, please do give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss future content. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, of course, you can also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to give your take on everything that we bring up today. But without further ado, let's get into this. I like that we actually have a cold open and a theme song, and then our main content.
We should all have just walked on.
Yeah. It's sort of set. And actually, there's another little piece of music that plays just before our cold open, which is kind of like the gun barrel thing, you know?
Oh,
so our episode is formatted like a James Bond movie. I'm bullshitting this. Anyway, we'll get around to that. But before we do, I want to start with Tokyo Game Show, which happened during the week, and I don't know how you guys felt about it. I was kind of excited to see some stuff, and everything that I was excited to see wasn't at it.
What were you looking forward to?
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I figured, and actually, I thought that the Final Fantasy 16, I thought that was going to show at the PlayStation Showcase. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
I'd said that, and someone commented saying they're probably going to save that for Tokyo Game Show because it's only a few weeks later. And I was like, oh, actually, you know what? You're fucking dead on. I'd say you're absolutely right. I think that's going to be the kind of show stealer at that. Makes a lot of sense. So, and then there was a Square Enix Presents presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's the place to do it. It's going to end on Final Fantasy 16. Of course it is. It opened with, we won't be showing any of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
It made me feel like, actually just pointing that out made me feel like I was like, they knew that that's the only thing people were there for, maybe? I was there for two things, and I got neither of them. I was there for Final Fantasy 16, and I was hoping to see more of Ever Crisis.
Yeah, that was actually pretty surprising that there wasn't any type of update on Ever Crisis at all.
So we got the other mobile game, and the other
no
Final
release date
Fantasy
though.
Game. Yeah, but it's this year or something.
Some point.
Really know. At some point.
Some point this year.
It's gonna drop. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Were you surprised, or did you think that no, there was no hope we were going to get to see it?
I wasn't surprised by the show at all. The show did exactly as it was supposed to. Tokyo Game Show is the Japanese equivalent of the Gamescom.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So it's
a lot of the same stuff was shown, right?
Pretty much, but there's more stuff that's tailored towards the Japanese market.
Yeah, I get that.
There's always a lot more of that, because even with Xbox's showcase, like it's the same thing, but we haven't heard Game Pass and XCloud being hammered home this much in any of their
Yeah,
other things, and it's just because that's part of their initiative, is their worldwide expansion that they're trying to do, and they just want to break into the Japanese market. So it's a really important move for Xbox. I think they did everything they needed to do. And they were showcasing the importance of bringing on more Japanese games and Japanese developers, because that's an area that they are weak in comparison to Sony, is the lack of JRPGs and things like that. They have been getting better at it, but here they're trying to strengthen that relationship. So I think they did everything they needed to do. For us, it's not going to be that, it's the same stuff all the time, but it's just this is going to have more interest for the Japanese market in everything that was shown. Now, I didn't get to see the whole thing. I only got to see Xbox and Square Enix. And you could tell by the two of them the type of content that's being shown and how it's being marketed. That it's for that market. So
it actually kind of hit home at me how much of a success Game Pass is and is going to continue to be honest, during this. Even though I already knew it was a good investment, but this whole thing of like, I don't know, it clicked at me as I was watching it and as they were kind of stressing it and showing it on the multiple different devices and stuff, that it was like, okay, in the last kind of, what they tried to do before was compete with PlayStation. They're not really competing with Nintendo.
Right.
But they tried to compete with PlayStation before in terms of having great first-party titles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost that game, realistically. They have a few great ones, but they just couldn't keep up with how many PlayStation have.
Yeah.
So now they're playing a totally different game that PlayStation isn't playing at all, and they're fucking conquering that game.
Yeah,
it's this Game Pass thing.
You can see it being a long play, but you can already see its success.
Yeah.
And you could see where Sony could end up really losing big time.
Yeah.
Because they just have been ignoring that and pouring money into, it's like the streaming services, right? Like, no one thought the streaming services would kick the shit out of the big major film studios.
No, yeah. And then by fuck did they?
Yeah.
Well, especially like in the instance of a pandemic,
Yeah.
Like in general, obviously the pandemic has been an awful thing for everyone. But there are some cases where people have benefited from it. As with all crises, sometimes someone will benefit, whether it's someone selling something that becomes needed in that time or whatever. And I think streaming services really benefited from the pandemic. Not that any of them would be like tanking it or anything like that, but it just, the circumstances actually were beneficial to them financially.
Game Pass to some degree is along with xCloud. It's like this, and I think they had a really good. Phil had a really good point where he's saying how the console shortages, it's something that they're trying to, obviously solve. But the way things are, it's just, they're doing it as best they can. But with xCloud, it doesn't matter what device you have. As long as you're subscribed to Game Pass, you can play our games. And it's like, wow. Like, if you were a crazy person, you would think that Bill Gates did start this whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's so perfect, But it's just such a nice, happy accident for them. And it's like, it may not have been a success if something like the coronavirus wasn't here. It mightn't be as successful, but it's just so happened to be the right platform at the right time. Kind of, it's pretty impressive.
And now from that, there's a huge hype about it.
Yeah,
now it's like I gotta get on that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like even if a service is good, like when Spotify first started, it was very much this kind of indie thing, and people were like, check out Spotify, man. And I was like, what the fuck is Spotify? It's like, oh, you can listen to anything on it, and if you pay, you can listen to anything without ads. And you're like, what? But you can make your own playlists, man. It replaced Groove Shark. I remember when Groove Shark was the thing to have on at a party and queue up your tracks.
Really?
Spotify replaced that. So it's just interesting that something, once it becomes popular, everyone's got to have it.
Mm.
Do you know what
There
I mean?
is that. Yeah, it's like almost like a pyramid scheme. You know, like you only benefit if others have it. Which is like the
Right.
whole thing about the whole console war, right? I mean, we always, it's like it's so silly that people fight over consoles and all that kind of shit, right? Like, oh, I want my one to win, but it's that whole thing. It's like you want everyone else to have the same one as you, so that you don't feel left out when you're playing a game. Like you can join them,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
But at least with Game Pass, they've, with the exception of PlayStation, because I feel like Switch is still going to get involved at some point. Maybe not the current one, but I think Nintendo's next console. I have a feeling Xbox would put their Game Pass on it, or xCloud on it.
I have a feeling that's something that they would definitely discuss.
Yeah. So with the exception of PlayStation, you know, if you went with Game Pass, you could actually play with people no matter your platform. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you have, you can join them.
Yeah, and then I wonder, like, at what point are PlayStation gonna try and come up with some kind of? I don't think they will just leave it. I think
No, I can't see them. I think they're definitely
a
going
little while, but I think they're
to
gonna
please
have to do
investors at least. They're definitely going to try something, but I don't think it's a good idea. As much as like I love Game Pass, I think Game Pass is a fucking amazing
we know.
service. And
Don't we, Eric?
if PlayStation had something like that, like I probably wouldn't have used Game Pass then. You know what I mean? I've just used the PlayStation one, but I just don't think they have. Like Microsoft, I think are taking a loss on that service until they get enough people in on it, and then they can start making a return.
They know the investment is the long game.
Yeah, but I just don't think Sony has that in them. You know, I think if they try that, if they try it and fail, that could be the end of them.
Right.
Which is probably why we're not seeing anything from them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. From Tokyo Game Show, did you guys see the trailer for Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger Paradise?
Oh, Chaos is out.
Trailer. They didn't mention Chaos so much.
But Darkness is in.
Those are lyrics of a song, man.
Yeah, probably.
What you just think of it?
Nah, it's the same thing.
They should hire the people who did the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer to start doing their Final Fantasy trailers.
For all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
although, again, like Adam said, it's aimed at a Japanese audience, and Japanese audience tend to like their trailers looking like a mess.
What?
Do they?
It's just with all these JRPGs, it's just a lot of bullshit happening on the screen with not even a hint of context or at least timing.
Dude, it's in Japanese. Like, I don't think we'd
just
ever.
don't-
I don't think we'd ever know.
Mine was in English.
Yeah, that trailer was in English.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, but the biggest thing that kind of annoyed me the most was the end of the trailer.
Jack Garland.
Yes, I was like,
as
what?
their mic drop. Is that supposed to be? This is the thing that annoyed me the most about that. Not only was I like, fuck off in that kind of, don't give me some of this Force Awakens Spectre style fucking stupid fucking twist drop that nobody cares about. But then later on, I was like, I wonder, does that mean he's related to Garland, or does he become Garland? I was like, don't have me theorizing about this already shit twist.
I didn't even see it like that. I
Garland.
just thought.
How would you see it?
I just saw it as the villain was just saying that he was Jack Garland, and I was like, hold on. The first antagonist of Final Fantasy ever not only is called Jack, fucking Jack, out of every name, Jack.
But the voice
his voice sounds like every generic fucking hero with the name Jack. And it's just like, that is awful. It was just an awful choice for me.
Did you say the antagonist is called Jack Garland? Is that what you said?
But the first antagonist of Final Fantasy was Garland, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. But
Yeah.
the protagonist in this game is called Jack Garland.
Oh, see, because they're showing
That's
Garland,
the protagonist.
but they're showing Garland the antagonist.
That's
as
why
as they're having their
yeah.
dialogue.
That's why I was wondering: is the guy you're playing as, does he become Garland?
Oh,
In
probably.
the game, right?
Well,
I
that's
don't
it.
know, because the first Final Fantasy was all about time travel. So, is it that you are chaos, hunting your own inner demons or something? I don't know.
Are you going to
but there
pick it
was-
up?
The game?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I played the first demo.
Yeah.
And today I played the second demo, which I uploaded the gameplay of. However, because I didn't, from my gathering, I didn't complete the first demo because I was like, "Fuck this."
I lost
into it.
interest.
And when I started the second demo, which I thought was going to be a new area, it started me at the start again with
Okay.
the tutorial and the same dungeon.
So
Now,
is
I will
this
say-
an update to the...
Yeah, I will say, personally, I don't know what they changed, but it played better for me. And I got through it a lot quicker. There's more adjustments in the difficulty levels, I believe. But I got to a boss fight, and then I got absolutely floored on the boss fight a couple of times and went, okay, that's it for me. And I was like, this is not for me, this game, still. But I think they have made improvements in terms of the style of game that they're making. I just don't like the style of game that they're making.
Yeah.
I spent more time on the fucking menu where you change your cosmetics than I did actually fighting anything. I was like, what?
Excellent.
Every fucking turn is like
Much
a
more.
cosmetic change. I was like, what the fuck? And I was looking at the designs of the three characters. I was like, why the fuck do it all look like my guy looked like some fucking character you create in the character creation fucking page on a Soul Calibur game. The fucking next guy to me looked like a character at a Virtua Fighter, and the other guy looked like a guy at a Tekken. Like, we looked like three fucking fighting game characters running around a cathedral. I was like, this is the weirdest. And my name is Jack in Final. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like the least Final Fantasy thing ever with a couple of Final Fantasy enemies around. It's just bizarre. Weird choices all around is how I feel about it. But maybe it's right up someone's alley. I don't know. But
I did find that Square Enix's showcase, though, it was pretty much the same thing that we just saw at Gamescom, which was confusing because it's like at least with Microsoft, they were very focused on like showing games that could appeal to the Japanese market.
yeah.
Square Enix was like showing things like Life is Strange and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not that wouldn't appeal, but it's like, but we already saw that, so.
I was a bit annoyed about that. There was a spoiler in the Life is Strange True Colors Japanese trailer.
Was there?
Yeah, there was. Or at least, maybe it's not a spoiler, but it's something that I didn't know about. It hadn't been in any previous trailers that I'd seen. And I was a bit annoyed about it, because I reckon it would have surprised me a little bit. It involves the character Gabe, in case anyone doesn't know. I won't spoil it, but if people have played it, they probably know what that is. I was really annoyed.
I haven't noticed it, but I love the soundtrack. I was like, immediately when it came on, I was like searching as like to see if the album was available or something, because it's so like, I just put that on in the background just as like kind of ambient music.
You know,
I just love it.
That Chocobo racing game looks fucking bitchin', man.
Yeah. But
I
that
don't know
life,
why you're laughing.
that
Eric,
Life is Strange
it looks bitchin',
remastered.
doesn't it?
I see. I'm not going to lie.
You gonna get it?
I didn't really watch the Tokyo Game Show, like any of it.
Oh.
All right. Tell us the truth. What did you watch?
The comment section.
Hold on.
Too
I
many.
thought you said that the whole thing was like convoluted and crazy, and you didn't even watch it. What the fuck, man?
No, yeah, I watched the trailer for Final Fantasy Origins.
Sure. All right. Okay,
And I
okay.
watched Nickelodeon's introduction of Toph Beifong as a fighter for Nickelodeon All Star. And I was like, fuck yeah.
I
Bring
didn't even
that.
know there was a Nickelodeon All Stars. What the fuck
Neither
is that?
did I. Neither did I. I decided, like, oh,
Is that
cool.
a game?
Yeah, I assumed that was part of the Tokyo Game Show. I don't fucking know. And then I saw XCOM being all like xCloud, Game Pass,
Xbox, you
xCloud, whatever. Same. What did I say?
You said
XCOM.
XCOM.
Same thing.
But did you notice with like
Xbox will fight aliens?
the Life is Strange remastered? I just loved how like great that it's remastered, but you know the way they showed the whole like wipe across the screen.
Yeah.
Here's the difference: is like, it looks no different.
No, not really. No.
I thought that was funny.
Nothing to write home about. But
No,
cool
I
to
think
have
just show it, but I just don't understand the wipe. Like unless there's like a huge difference, what's the point in showing that? But
yeah,
definitely worth picking up though. Life is Strange is a cool game.
Yeah, no, I still mean to get True Colors. Nothing has swayed me from getting it, except time and money, and trying to get.
Did you watch any of
Come on.
Konami?
I didn't. Actually, I didn't get around to it. Was there anything interesting at it?
No. When you expect like the rumors,
I
you
know.
and then Konami, it's just
wasn't there more rumors revealed last
there
week?
was
Around Konami. There was.
They should stop doing that because my heart can't take.
Fuck up. So they not you, but the rumors. Yeah, apparently there's this person who wrote a report. Can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it was saying that Konami are supposedly working on, we've been saying this for a while actually, that we reckon Konami will come back with a Castlevania, a Silent Hill, and Metal Gear Solid 1 remake is what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, the rumor is that there's going to be a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake being developed.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, as long as it's one of the four, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, like I mean, any one of them, if they were being remade, that's fine. I think remaking 3 is probably makes the most sense, realistically, just because I think it has a story that is equal to, if not greater than that of like something like The Last of Us or God of War or something like that. It's got quite a modern story. And it's got enough in there that you could see the way, if you up the game input and the mechanics of it, that it's not going to break that game that much. It'll actually only expand the game, because it's the first one that had like kind of open areas and different ways you could combat, bosses and things like that. I think the first one would be a huge challenge. But you could see them going, like, they'll remake 3, but it won't be called 3. They'll just remake 3, right? And work up towards 1. You could see them doing that way.
Possibly.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Man, I mean, I'd be over the moon, so excited if, as Eric was saying, they remade any of them.
Yeah.
Because they're all
except Portable Ops. Don't think
amazing games.
I said any of the four.
Nope.
Any of the four.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I wouldn't be against Metal Gear 2 being remade, as I've never played them. Wouldn't be against them.
No, yeah, definitely.
But mainly the four. Mainly the only other four.
Yeah.
That were made.
Welcome to denial. Yeah, I will be honest. I would be most excited if it was a remake of MGS1. Only because for our audio listeners, Adam just pointed at Metal Gear Rex in the background. And for our visual watchers, Adam just pointed at Metal Gear Rex in the background because you can't fucking see it.
Can you not? Can you see that?
Dark.
Oh, sorry.
It's very dark.
I can make it out.
It's a silly one.
But I know what it is, I suppose. So
yeah,
I think if someone didn't,
once you see it, that's it.
Yeah,
you know it now. Look, there's a satellite. There's this big railgun.
Our podcast is like a game of Where's Wally, but from now on it's gonna be Where's
Metal Gear. I should move him.
Hide Metal Gear.
Move him around place.
Yeah, for each episode now, and like it'll just be.
Where's Metal Gear?
Whoever spots him gets a free chance to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But please do. Yeah, I would be most excited if it was Metal Gear Solid 1. but I
Yeah.
would be
Of course.
by no means disappointed if they are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 at all. I
Yeah.
would be curious as to how they might portray the characters nowadays. Would they lean into the campiness still, or would they try and tell a more grounded story? Like, would they feel that they want to do a different take on Snake Eater, or would they just feel that they could, stay faithful to the source material, but just bring in modern gameplay systems and graphics? Like, I would wonder.
Oh, it's so hard to know. It's Konami, isn't it? It's like,
it's very hard to know like which way they would go with it, and that's the only thing. Like, I would be a little bit concerned about, like, would they do the theme song, for example? Like, would they do a reimagining of the theme song, or?
Oh, I'd say they'd try to keep like, considering their previous take on Metal Gear games. So like Metal Gear Survive, for example, is the first one they've done post Kojima, and it's just like reusing as much as they could.
Did that come out?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So I could
I remember seeing the trailers, but
I could see them actually putting in like, so it would use the Fox engine and stuff like that. It'd use the gameplay of MGS5 and things like that. I could see them taking the intro video and song in the same like resolution from the original game, and just not touching it. Just like it's really grainy because they're fucking lazy. But hopefully they outsource it. I think I'd like to see them outsource it.
I would imagine Konami are taking very much an EA approach to their newer projects. I would imagine that they're going to come out with this shit. That's absolutely not what I mean. What I mean,
you have to pay for new camo in the game.
Yeah. It's like, do you want to eat the snake? Buy it. No, I mean that EA have outsourced, or they're doing a fucking serious re-envisioning in terms of Dead Space and Mass Effect. They're really looking at their.
But are they not? Is that not their own studios though? Working on
what
them?
I mean is. What I'm trying to say, guys,
what are you trying to say?
They're going back to their original awesome games rather than continuing to make shite.
I'm saying they're flicking themselves in the fucking balls and saying, "Cop the fuck on and make some good fucking games, will you?" That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I
think Konami are going to be doing the same thing. I don't think they're going to be just lazily recycling, because I think that hasn't done them any favors.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's all, guys.
But the rumor of the full. The rumor of the full kind of collection coming, like I even that I'd be so happy with, because MGS4 is just stranded on that machine, Yeah.
But also MGS1, you can't get the PS1 version on like anything. So because I saw someone did like a quick little like fan art of what it might look like. All the
looks
games.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was like, man. If they do a remaster collection of the previous Metal Gear Solid games, and it would probably include 1 to 4 and Peace Walker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Day one, buy it. I don't care what price it is, motherfuckers. I'd be so happy. And I was seeing that fan art as well with the PS5 cover. I was just like, that looks amazing. I want it. I want that more than anything else right now.
Yeah.
I don't give a
Because even if it was like the Final Fantasy VII, like the PC port style, like just 4K resolution, but it's still like the polygonal characters, that would still be a solid game to play. It'll be a Metal Gear Solid game to play.
Unreal. I'd buy it in a heartbeat. What I was thinking about when the rumor about the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, it was like, I'd be more excited to hear of a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake.
Yeah.
I think the general world would be more excited to hear of a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the game that people like the most. I think it's
that was in the
series.
It was in the IGN list of greatest games. So
it was. And before we revisit that IGN bracket tournament, because we will, I just want to touch on then, if the rumors are true, right? And Konami are working with someone to make this Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Yeah.
Does that mean, now that Bluepoint have officially been acquired by PlayStation Studios, right? Which we all knew was going to happen, but it's kind of great to make it official. Does that mean the rumor of them making a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake is it's like gone now? Is that rumor long gone? Like, what could they be working on instead?
Unless it's I was about to say unless it's Konami working with Bluepoint, but probably not.
I don't know.
Well, unless it's Konami's making MGS3 and Bluepoint is making Metal Gear Solid 1.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
you add them together, it becomes 4.
Like, it could be outsourcing, you know. What would be really shit is if, like, let's say Metal Gear Solid 1 was being made by Bluepoint, so it's exclusive to the PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid 2 being, like, remade, so it's exclusive to the fucking Switch or something like that, and then MGS3 exclusive to the Xbox.
That would make Chris get a Switch.
It would be, you know what? It's like Breath of the Wild can be as amazing as everyone's saying, but if any Metal Gear Solid game gets remade solely for the Switch, I'm buying one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
If MGS2 was remade for the Switch, I'd have to buy it. I'd be like, that.
Yeah, but you know it would actually just be the HD version,
remaster.
just ported over.
Yeah. If it was a remaster, I wouldn't be pushed on getting a new console just for that. Obviously, if I had the console and there was the remaster, I would get it. But I actually, like, I know it's going to be Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid 1 is going to be the more exciting remakes for people, but if there was ever a time to remake MGS2, I'd be all for that.
Oh, absolutely. That game is freakishly
They could retouch
accurate
on some fucking themes that, like, MGS2 is fucking scary.
Yeah, it's
we said
right.
before, but it's fucking amazing.
It's
and
really
as well,
good.
if there were... Raiden is one character that would actually benefit from a reimagining, I think.
Yeah.
Personally, I've always felt that way.
Sorry, Quentin. We'll just have to recast you, man.
Quentin's great, but I would even like
Kiefer
to see
Sutherland.
Yeah. God, that would be such a kick in the teeth. I would even like to see Raiden redesigned. Like, I'd be okay with that. I don't mean to the point of being unrecognizable as the character, but I would be okay with a slight reimagining.
Would you want him to keep his H.R. Geiger suit?
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay. Skull suit.
So I like the skull suit.
So just the face.
It's more so the length of the hair. There's nothing tactical looking about it. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Do you know? It always was.
No, it is. It's really tactical. People confuse him for a woman, and then they don't shoot him straight away.
They just grab his balls.
They just grab his balls.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're a man.
Thanks, President Johnson. Man, Metal Gear Solid is so fucking good.
It is, yeah.
I'd take a remaster, a remake, anything. I'd take anything. Just give me more. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So that's cool. I hope any of those things are happening. I want any of those rumors, or all of them. All of them, please. Yeah. But then, jumping back to the IGN bracket tournament, which we did a whole episode on, and we already knew that our picks were out of the game, but we decided to go along anyway and see if in our world which game would have won, and the right one won that time. But in the
that's because Metal Gear Solid 1 wasn't on the list.
I don't know. I suppose Eric might have gone for that one instead of Final Fantasy 7. I don't know. No, wait, didn't we ask you? We did, didn't we?
Sure.
Or should we ask you? No. No, please don't do this to me. No, yeah. So God of War was the game that won, and we kind of did predict that it would either be that or GTA 5, and those were the two games that came down to in the end.
Yeah.
But congrats, God of War. By no means is it a bad game. It's an amazing game.
It's a good game.
And well done to everyone involved.
Very good.
So I just thought it'd be good to acknowledge that, because we've done an episode on that bracket tournament, that the winner, the actual official winner, was 2018's God of War.
It's the newest. It was the newest game on the list, though, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
From my recollection of what was on the list, I believe so.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for some of the old games. You know, they didn't really stand a chance. Well,
I'm super surprised that, like, you know, maybe they put a cap on up to what year, and maybe it's worthwhile when you crown a game like this that you say up to a certain year too, because another couple of years, suddenly the list is outdated. You know, because they call it greatest game of all time as opposed to greatest game of the decade or something like that, which is probably a better.
Well, it can't be, can it? Because Tetris was in there.
No, but I don't mean that's what. From the beginning, though, if you choose the time frame, it can actually the list can remain kind of constant for your period.
Yeah.
Because it would have happened with, and nothing can change to that particular time period you select.
Greatest game of all time pre-COVID.
Right, yeah. But like The Last of Us Part 2, for example, wasn't on the list. And
yeah, well,
you would imagine based on reviews that it's one that would certainly be considered.
Yeah, I wonder where they got their list from. So it must have been maybe out of, because if it was their own, I thought it was like made out of what's their highest rated games that they themselves voted on. But I think they gave Last of Us 2 a 10 out of 10, didn't they?
I think everyone did, apart from the people who
played it. Yeah.
No, because like the review copies are given out, right? Like,
yeah, they would be. Yeah.
IGN don't buy the game, like, do they? So
yeah. So I wonder how they picked their games.
I liked it. I liked Last of Us Part 2. I wouldn't have minded if it was on the list, but I'm just surprised at some other things like Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man, and these are other really successful
games.
Yeah, I wonder if
successful games is all I was gonna say.
Yeah, maybe it's to do with like a combination of its rating plus its how many copies it sold. Maybe it's a combination of something like that.
Possibly.
I'm not bitter at all.
Eric, you sound real bitter, man. You all right, man?
You all right, man? No, I'm glad God of War won because it absolutely deserved it.
Out of that list?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Now you have Chris bitter.
Let's role reverse here. Final Fantasy VII was knocked out in the first round. There was nothing fair about this.
No, hold on. I didn't say all the rounds are fair. I'm just saying with the way it went, it was
between that and
it was fair because they had a lot of troubles, didn't they, making God of War and everything, and he was very worried about the game. Like GTA 5 GTA 5 was always going to do well. It's GTA. Come on,
I get you.
It's like FIFA, only good. And actually different all the time. But they were all very worried about God of War, and they were doing something very different. So,
well, speaking of worried about God of War, I thought it was very honorable in both directions. I don't know if you saw this during the week, but Christopher Judge, who plays Kratos, put out a post explaining why God of War Ragnarok was delayed. Of course, I was putting it down to a lot of things, but never down to anything like this.
Yeah.
But he had to go into like surgery. He couldn't walk, and he had to go through like rehab and stuff. And they just waited for him.
I thought that was really strange that was never
announced or said or anything.
Yeah, because I think if a game was delayed due to any other reason, maybe they'd get backlash or something. I don't know, because people are crazy. But
sure.
If you said, "Oh, we had to delay the game because our main performer is actually out sick, and we can't film," or it's like, "Oh, okay, well, I hope he recovers quickly and all that." Yeah, I think people would be very understanding. It's so strange that was left till now, and why now?
Well, I think it just showed how, in my mind, how decent Santa Monica Studio actually are, in that. To me, the approach was, listen, we're going to wait for you because we don't want anyone else to play this role. So we're going to delay the game till you're ready. But out of respect, it's no one else's business. That's it's not up to us to say what's going on with you or whatever. So, the fact that he then decided to say it, and I don't know why he decided to say it at this time, but because I don't think God of War had got any backlash.
I don't
of any
know.
kind.
I think you might not have seen any, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there getting pissed off just because of the fact that it was.
Sure. Even the Lana.
You're having this game, and then you're having this game, and then every single game is delayed, and every game's delayed. Sure, I had Horizon, and then that.
Yeah, I see a lot on different PlayStation accounts, people in the comments. They're either saying, make more PS5s. And then complaining why they don't have one, or they're saying release God of War now or else. And then there's like, I mean, Alana is constantly getting people screaming at her about, like, I mean, God of War is being delayed because she joined the team and she's making changes. And it's just like, what the flying fuck?
Yeah.
No, they do.
Yeah,
They do. They're receiving a lot, and generally, Corey. It's one thing I really like about Corey is that he tries to steer all blame towards him, no matter what. Like if someone on the marketing team made a mistake, he will say, well, that's actually his fault. That's his fault for not doing whatever, right? So he tries to like bring all, which is, you know, yeah, it's almost like a captain of a ship kind of a thing. It's
a show of a good leader.
Yeah. I don't know how well that's going to go for his mental health, but
right. No, I know. Yeah. It's kind
so
of
I think
the martyr.
This is probably all part of it. It's like, well, we'll take the blame as a company as opposed to putting so that people will. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe it was like, well, you don't need to hear anything and get all these tweets while you're trying to recover. Just focus on recovering, and we'll worry about the backlash.
Right. I think with how close Santa Monica are to Naughty Dog and stuff, they might have actually been like anticipating. It's possible, like they'd be very well aware of the way Laura Bailey was treated,
right,
as an actor, and so maybe they were thinking, like, okay, let's spare Christopher Judge any kind of judgment, so to speak,
and let him
or any kind
when
of,
he's ready.
Yeah. But I thought it was a really. I would imagine they never prompted him to say that. I would imagine he just decided, listen, I'm going to clear the fucking.
Well, I'm sure he had to say it to
them with them
so that they're aware that he's going to say it. But
yeah, but I don't imagine that they had a meeting to say, hey, do you mind? So, you know,
no, I'd say it was very much of a when you're ready. Say it.
I think it's I think it's ridiculous though that celebrities have to broadcast their entire life to people. It's none of our fucking business what they're doing in their private time, unless of course they're committing a crime. Then it's kind of our business. But you know, they're buying a fucking new pair of shoes. We don't need to give a shit. And then other things is like when they're doing a job, just because you don't like the decision of the character, that's not on the actor. The actor didn't do that. The actor didn't beat a guy's head in with a golf club because that guy never existed to begin with, and neither did the golf club. So, you know,
Eric, that should be on a T-shirt. People should have to buy it. The guy never existed, and neither did the golf club. But no context, but
just rock up to Comic-Con with that on your T-shirt.
That would be amazing.
That'd
oh my god,
good.
I want to get that printed.
Yeah.
It's like a "there is no spoon" quote or something, but
there is no golf club. Or we live in a society.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought it was cool that he put that out, and I thought it's a good idea to bring it up.
It was nice of them to wait. That was nice of them.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the game. The game looks good.
Jesus. That's the only nice thing you've said all podcast.
Wait till we get to No Time to Die. I'm sure.
I think we should get to that now because actually, I feel, Adam, that me and you have done a lot of talking because we've actually kept up with some of this stuff.
Probably.
And Eric here
hold on.
No. But listen, Eric here is like urgent to talk about No Time to Die, and he's just like, I just want to talk about No Time to Die.
Well, yes, that too, but also I just feel that with like Tokyo Game Show, no disrespect against Tokyo Game Show, but there's just too many game shows. Game shows, or at least there's like fucking less. Like, are we gonna have next year a fucking Vancouver, and then a Glasgow, and then a fucking like?
I see where you're coming from. Now, I will say the Tokyo Game Show has been around for years. It's not a new thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Right. So it's not like it's not like the start of a new trend or something. But I think you have made a good point about like, are there too many game shows?
Well, they're never really. Well, it used to be just okay. You had E3.
Yeah.
You had Gamescom, and Gamescom was E3 was always centered around the US, although the world chimed in, but it's US mostly. Gamescom is Europe, and then you had Tokyo Game Show, which is Japan, right? The three major markets for,
and a lot of them would be the same show, almost just rejigged for the audience.
Kinda.
Sure.
Gamescom would be. That's where you'd normally get more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff because I think that's where devs tend to like it goes on for a couple of days, like, and that's where devs do their like big huge presentations and stuff like that. I think that's at Gamescom. But I always found Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show to be quite similar. E3 is generally the big one. That's where like everyone shows off. More people are chiming into that one. It's the additional stuff. It's the fucking state of plays that are happening every month. It's the Nintendo Direct that's happening every month. It's like, whatever. All this stuff is unnecessary. 100%.
Yeah, it's making it seem like there's a showcase around every corner.
Yeah.
With nothing to show.
I missed the
PlayStation
experience that used to be in like December. Oh, and now we have the VGAs as well. And what was the other one? We had another one as well. Oh yeah, the one during Summer Game Fest.
That's right. Fest. Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah,
you're right.
There's so many that by the time it came to Tokyo, I was drained of watching game shows and watching the same thing and probably having to watch another trailer for Deathloop, even though that game's released, right? But just so now, at that point,
Guardians of the Galaxy has now replaced Deathloop as the game that gets replayed and everything now. Yeah.
Yay. So I'm just exhausted from game shows that last forever.
Well, what about you guys? Whoever's listening or watching, let us know in the comments or let us know on our social media. Are you drained from game shows, or do you just want more? Did you like the Tokyo Game Show? Did you check it out? What stood out to you from it? And everything else that we brought up in terms of like Metal Gear Solid remakes, remasters. What would you want? Which rumors do you hope are true? Are you happy God of War won the IGN bracket tournament? And what did you think of Christopher Judge's tweet or announcement that he put out, the reason as to why God of War Ragnarok was delayed? Let us know your thoughts on all those things, but now let us shift our focus towards the thing that Eric really wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about it too, so does Adam. Let's talk about
where the fuck are we gonna try all this shit?
Let's talk about James Bond, No Time to Die, which we have finally seen. It has been... I mean, this movie was supposed to come out in April of when the pandemic began. Yeah. It was the first movie to be
So it was
delayed.
done?
It was finished.
Wow.
They've even said in interviews that they never touched it again. This movie went into a vault and they had to keep it fucking like really locked up this whole time. And every so often, obviously, there was new release dates, and then I had to shift again and shift again and shift again. There was thoughts at one point Amazon were trying to buy it to put it on their streaming service. They offered them so much money to buy this movie, and they wouldn't budge. The producer said, "No way, this has to go into a cinema." I am so glad they stuck their guns.
Yeah.
I just want to say that first of all.
Yeah.
No spoilers, by the way, everyone, if you're listening. But just we're gonna give you our thoughts on No Time to Die. Maybe a little bit of context, because why the fuck would you care what we think about No Time to Die? Why would you care what we think about James Bond? If anyone's seen a little bonus that I put out, I have already explained that I'm a huge James Bond fan. So that might be a reason you might care what I think. But why would you care what Adam or Eric thinks? So Eric, why should anyone care what you think about No Time to
Die? Because if you are... Well, I don't know. Why not?
You don't like James Bond, do you?
No, I do like James Bond, but like,
sure, that's enough.
Big... Oh, okay.
Like, what are the credentials for like? Okay, I'm not going to listen to just anyone be a source on something. You know what I mean? Or like.
Well, you might, because you might agree with their opinions. Whether they're a fan or not, that you might agree with their opinions on things.
Right. Okay.
But you wouldn't know unless you listen to them.
You also wouldn't know unless you've seen it to agree with them or not.
That is very true.
So now you'd want to know, would their opinions sway me at all? What the fuck do they know about James Bond?
Man, this is some deep philosophy shit.
I'm going to come to Adam. Adam. Why would anyone give a shit what you think about No Time to Die?
Well, we were raised on Bond. I wouldn't consider myself a Bond expert. I wouldn't be able to give you the Bond movies in chronological order. I can definitely name them all, but I wouldn't be able to give it to you in chronological order. But like, as a kid, every Wednesday I watch the Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's deep within my DNA is James Bond. I'm sure like a lot of my taste in everything that surrounds my life is probably influenced by him. Love of gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
So and well, I think Daniel Craig as the newest Bond, I think he's my favorite, and it's coming from someone who has grown up with them all. And this being his final one, I think there's some things to be said.
Now, Eric, would you like to copy and paste that answer, or
I
did
was
you grow
just
up in
gonna
a
say
different household?
That kind of sounds like almost like a motivational speech, or like one of those kind of speeches that like a celebrity might give at like something. Well, no, like the same thing. We both grew up with it, and we both really liked it. So that's one of the reasons why we like Metal Gear Solid, because it reminded us of James Bond.
Yeah, there was a lot of Bondisms in that, and even like the Snake Eater opening theme, as we were talking about earlier on. Okay, so again, no actual spoilers for the movie, but we're going to give you our thoughts on what we thought of the movie as a whole. So just in general, and then we will get into some like specifics, but not like spoilers. Just like taking an element, for example, on its own and say, what did you think of that? Eric, what did you think of the movie?
Fantastic. 8 out of 10. That's right.
I wasn't expecting a number rating. Actually,
that's how fucking bang on, right? 8 out of 10.
What is wrong with you?
So good.
Okay.
The music and the
Music.
the score of the film was fantastic. Hans Zimmer did a really good job.
I think Eric has so much to say that like
He doesn't even know where to start.
I don't know where to
like,
start.
It's just like, what do you think of it? Blah.
It's you know in Family Guy when Peter Griffin goes to recite all the states of America in quarter of a second.
Yeah.
That's like all of Eric's thoughts. It's like he's been thinking about this all day and waiting all episode to talk about it. Then he already had his final score. You know, he's just like 8 out of 10. And he's like, oh shit, I forgot to say what I thought about it.
That is what I thought about it. That's 8 out of 10.
As soon as the film ended, you were just like 8 out of 10. Okay, no, sorry, you were talking about Hans Zimmer's score.
Hans Zimmer's score is fantastic. The acting is phenomenal, especially Lea Seydoux. So good in it. She did a phenomenal job. Actually, Rami Malek, very, very intimidating as a villain. I was quite like, I think his first kind of scene that he's in, where he's fully in it, was very kind of puts like hairs on the back of your neck, like it's kind of spine chilling. Because he's just very intimidating. The comedy, while I am not a fan of comedy in films, was fantastic because it was handled so well. The comedic timing of it was top notch, and the fight choreography was great. There's one sequence in it which I only halfway through it did I realize, oh my god, this is all one shot, and it's just so good.
Yeah,
it's just that entire sequence, that fight sequence, is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam, general thoughts on the movie?
I agree with Eric. 8 out of 10. That's not even a lie. I mean, if you went to my IMDb profile now, you'll see that's what I give it.
Oh, you went and reviewed it?
Yeah.
Do us a favor.
I didn't actually. I didn't. I just gave it a rating.
I
didn't
okay.
review. I just gave it a rating. But yeah,
give us a review now then.
Really, it is a really, really great film. I think the plot is a bit wacky. The plot's a bit bonkers. It's overall not a great plot, I thought. But it just goes to show when you have a director that can like it's really well directed. It's really well filmed. The timing is really good. The editing is really good. The score is really, really good. And the performances are really good. And it's like, it's just mad that if any one of those pieces was off, that plot would be way more noticeable in its flaws, I think.
Right.
So so there's kind of a disappointment in terms of it being his last movie that I would have preferred a better like a better, I suppose, mission for him, I guess. But
Right, yeah.
that's not really the story, so that doesn't matter that much. But everything else I just think is like, what a homage to Bond as a whole. And this is the most Roger Moore that Daniel Craig's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And Roger Moore, in some ways, is probably my least favorite James Bond. Even though
Well, he's my least favorite, but
famous. But
yeah, but like
no, I know what you're saying.
Roger Moore, I think what makes he's just Roger Moore, isn't he? He's not necessarily being Bond. At some points, I think even in interviews, he was just like, yeah, whatever. I do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like with this, it matches his age, I think. How long he's been in it and the things that matter to him now. It just works. This evolution of the character, going from that initial Casino Royale Bond and working up through, because like Skyfall was a bit Connery, I think, in a way. So it was like as if it was working up towards this more Bond. So there's a bit of Brosnan in there too, because like obviously Pierce Brosnan is like a mixture of Connery and Roger Moore. You know,
He had some serious one-liners, didn't he? Pierce
He
Brosnan.
did. He did.
He
He
was
probably
so
had some
good
of
at it as well.
He had the best ones, I think.
Yeah, he was so good at it. It always came off as just like witty humor as opposed to like a cheesy one-liner. Like he just always was able to sell it. And actually, in this movie, Daniel Craig has a few, and he sells them really well. I was surprised.
Good.
I fucking loved this movie. There's been a few like really great movies this year. Up till now, like A Quiet Place Part 2 was probably my favorite movie this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been dethroned by No Time to Die. It's my favorite movie this year so far. I fucking loved it. It's the most Bond and least Bond movie I've seen in years. And what I mean by that is like there's a real mature, emotional story here.
Yep.
And also a real bonkers, back to crazy, world-ending, high-stakes spy movie here. I think anyone who wants something from a James Bond movie is going to get something they wanted. They have done a wonderful fucking job balancing all things James Bond. They really have, though.
Yeah, they have.
If you're looking for quippy one-liners, they're there. If you're looking for gadgets, they're there. If you're looking for action sequences, they're there. If you're looking for exotic locations, they're there. If you're looking for like this crazy villain, it's there. It's all there. They've done a magnificent job, and I think, Adam, you were bang on when you said like good director, good cinematography, good fucking music score. Like all the right elements were in the right place with a script that, yeah, in someone else's hands could have been a disaster. But it fucking wasn't. I don't care what anyone says. This is fucking great. I fucking loved it, and I'm dying to go see it again. Like,
I need to, because I had to take a. I was actually really feeling really sick actually the moment I sat down.
Oh man, shouldn't have sat down.
And
I
was a little bit like I don't know because of how full the screen was. I kind of wish we weren't as on top of each other as we were. Not us as a family. I just mean like that. It was the first time I've seen that many people in the one space throughout
throughout
COVID.
A long time.
Were lift.
So I think the heat of the place and everything just kind of, I started to feel a bit nauseous, so I actually had to get up and leave for about 15 minutes. So I missed about 15 minutes of the film.
Right.
So I'd love to see.
And you would have hated those 15 minutes, I have to be honest.
Really?
I'm only joking.
I think I got the gist.
That's the scene where the laser shark came in through the window. No, I am joking. It doesn't get to that level.
No.
But yeah, so look, our general thoughts is we really like it. And I think it's important to get around to that even because in general, if you look up reviews, well, they're largely positive.
I've seen a shit ton of 1-star reviews.
It's not Shang-Chi kind of Marvel movie positive where it's up in 96, 97% Rotten Tomatoes. It is a divisive movie, which when I heard that before going to see it, because I did check out a couple of reviews before going to see it, it only piqued my excitement more, to be honest, because it's not often that a Bond movie is divisive.
No.
They're pretty, and I love them, but they're pretty run-of-the-mill. You know, they're like, you know, you expect a certain formula, and that formula is usually there. And as long as you enjoy the ride, you come out and you go, that was a great Bond movie. I had a great time. And then every once in a while, there'll be one that really fucking throws a few spanners into the works. And you go, whoa, that was different. But I really liked it. That was actually really special. I suppose like Casino Royale is a prime example of that. Where it was like, it was still very much a Bond movie, but it kind of shook up the formula a bit. It didn't start with the gun barrel, you know. It launched into the song a bit differently. Yeah. We didn't hear him say the name's James Bond, till the very end of the movie, you know.
The whole thing was playing.
What an end! The whole thing was there.
The whole thing was just playing poker. How was that?
Right, a huge.
No other Bond movie did that.
Well, certainly not for that length of fucking time. No, Jesus, what a chunk!
I think that's one thing. I mean, did I miss that in the 15 minutes I left? Was there any?
It was the 15-minute poker scene of the movie.
Is there any poker in that movie?
No.
Yeah, maybe that's the one element maybe that's missing.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
Nice little tuxedo.
We're spoiling something that's not in it.
Yeah. If you're going, that's the one. That's actually,
If you're going in for poker, lads, let me tell you.
If that's the one Bond element that you're just all like die hard for, it's not there.
I'd love to. Eric already stressed it, but I want to stress it too. Man, Hans Zimmer.
The moment, right? Okay. How do I say this without spoiling?
That's why I want to spoil it.
Right, but there's a moment. No, we're not spoiling. Right. But there is a moment. I mean, it's a Bond movie. An explosion happens.
Sure.
In the film.
Right.
And there's like ringing happening in people's ears. Yeah. And the music conveys that. Right, it's still able to convey the kind of sense of urgency. But the way it's mixed, it almost sounds like it's blending in with the ringing.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment where I was like, wow, okay. Like, I've never experienced that in a Bond film. Where the music made me feel what the character was kind of experiencing or perhaps thinking in that moment. I've never experienced that in a Bond film. Most Bond films just have soundscapes that are kind of just to amp the action, maybe and even the love sequences. I think they tend to be quite poor. The scores for them, but this is like Hans has to keep doing it.
In most of them, the music is just there to fill the empty kind of
yeah.
You know, in this one, it absolutely heightened the experience. It was very much there. It was, oh my god, like I mean, it was one of the best things about the movie.
There's a bit of Dunkirk in there.
There's a bit of fucking Inception in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Hans Zimmer's work in there, as well as without spoiling any of it. But the man does some homages to some earlier Bond music.
Yeah.
And he does it masterfully.
Yeah.
He does it at all the right moments. And I'm telling you now, if you are a long-time James Bond fan, you're gonna lose your fucking mind when you hear the music in this movie. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
And
Not
also
a
what he does with
masterclass.
the traditional like Bond tune, the dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Like he I don't know what he does, but it's new, it's fresh, it's really modern, but it's still the same. I don't think it's the
So
same notes, but it's just maybe.
you sound like a judge off X Factor. You're like Louis Walsh from X Factor right now. You're new, you're fresh, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You got hands.
This
you're
new,
good.
yeah, this new Zimmer kid on the street, like he's
Yeah.
just.
This movie is going to make him blow up. He's going to be
Yeah.
huge.
He's got. They should give this Hans guy more movies.
Yeah, he should get more projects. But yeah, just what his work on it is, yeah, phenomenal, really really phenomenal. But it's not like as if he just rewrote the whole book either. Like you said, he took. I mean, there's
Inspiration from other
classic Bond tracks in there too.
Yeah.
Like the OG
Yeah.
tune is in there.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Again at right moments, and it just goes to show like he was watching like. He was like, I imagine he was either sitting down having discussions with the director. He was probably on set. He was probably fucking like watching it as he's editing it, like writing it or something like, because it's just so perfect. I don't know if I've seen a film that had a score that perfect with every scene. Because I've like obviously I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and I think the Lord of the Rings score is fucking amazing, but. It's like as if this one you can't separate this from what you're watching.
No, yeah, it actually, because I've listened to some of the tracks. Some of them are okay, are pretty good on their own, but actually, with the visuals, so much more heightened. Like it's so to the timing of the action and to the timing of the line
And
drops.
sometimes the action, or like I was saying, the plot itself is not that great. But with that score,
That's what you say.
it's like fucking wow. Well, no,
amazing, man.
somebody actually. I mean, I think this film has the best action sequences in the Daniel Craig saga.
I would agree.
Yeah.
If not just for the choreography of the action,
Yep.
some of the set pieces that surround it. Fucking, I like. At some point, we're gonna have to go into spoilers. Not in this one, but man, it's so fucking good. It's a really good movie. Like, I'm really so happy because, as well, I gotta be honest. You know, they kept saying, "Oh, it's Daniel Craig's last outing," and that seemed to be the selling point of this movie. Because I thought the trailers.
The trailers
really
weren't
not
great. I wasn't looking forward to it, if I'm gonna be honest.
No, I wasn't either. I was looking forward in the same respect as like I look forward to any James Bond movie.
Right. Yeah.
Oh no, not like Spectre. I had less expectations for this than I did when I was going into Spectre.
Okay.
Because Spectre was called Spectre.
Yeah.
That was the most exciting Bond title I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
And Spectre was disappointing because of my high expectations. But as well, it was a disappointing
It's a disappointing
movie.
film, yeah.
This movie is not only better than the trailers and any of the promotional material, which like they did a really good job actually at hiding so much, especially when you consider how long this has been like
Yeah.
locked up. But it was better than what I would have imagined as well. I think.
I find there's no way, in all honesty, you could actually kind of prepare yourself for what's going to be in the movie. And kind of the themes that they explore.
Yeah.
I think you could.
You think so?
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
I think you could.
Adam has spoken.
Well, like, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest,
Final judgment.
this film didn't do anything that I wasn't really expecting anyway. If I'm gonna be 100% honest, it's like, it's just I like how it was done. I like the fit and finish of the film. I think it was like well shot, well lit. Fucking the performances are great. All that kind of stuff. I just think it's well put together. Anna de Armas is like, where the fuck are you? Can we have more of you, please? You're amazing.
Everyone loves her, right?
She's amazing in it.
I wonder if she
so
did her own
good.
stunts.
I'd say so.
I think she'd
It'd be
probably
amazing
did.
if she did.
But
I'd say so.
let's talk about just the performers in general. Because
Right.
we talked about the music score. We've said the directing is really good. It's well lit. It's well shot. All those are sort of some of the more technical things. But like, what about the actual performers themselves? Like Daniel Craig has been in Bond a while now, and people kind of
15
felt like,
years.
Yeah, his comments after Spectre made it seem like he was real tired of the character. What did you think of his performances, apart from the fact that we've already said that his comedic timing was good?
Branching off from that, it seems like he had possibly the most fun in this movie.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
He was able to, like, he had a wider range to work with when it comes to character development and emotions in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to be comedic, he was able to be angry, he was able to be brutal, he was able to be smart, he was able to, he was able to, again, like we said, capture nearly all the different Bond essences just in the one movie.
And by really Jesus, sometimes was he brutal.
Yeah, my God. There's
like, if I think if anyone over the last two movies has been missing that Casino Royale or Quantum level of sort of violence from Daniel Craig's Bond, we finally have a taste of that back. I could say that.
Yeah, there's bits of every Craig in here.
Yeah.
In
that, it's so interesting because no other actor has ever known it was going to be their last movie until after the fact. When you're going,
Roger Moore must have known.
No, he kind of considered every movie after a certain point might be his last, but it was just they never filmed it in such a way that it's his last.
Right, yeah.
And it just kept reworking contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like A View to a Kill is not like a finite kind of movie in a way, you know what I mean? It's a great movie, but or same with like Die Another Day, they could have easily picked up a Pierce Brosnan on another adventure or left him alone because they all ended in such a way as he goes off with the girl into the sunset.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. And it's like, maybe they'll pick up again and maybe they won't. No Bond actor has ever gone in kind of knowing that they're going to, that they won't be doing it again. So with that in mind, I feel like the performance he was given was like, I'm going to give it my all. Like, it's like a swan song. He was fucking amazing in it. Really amazing. Definitely his best performance since Casino Royale.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't think it's as good as Casino, his performance, and there is some comedic points where it didn't work for me. There are some I actually felt that the comedy from other characters was a little bit better than it was for him.
Okay.
Some of the things he said, it was like, but it just it was sometimes a little out of character for me. But I definitely still think Casino is his best performance. But this is certainly a taste of that Bond again, which is great to see. Because I almost feel like, I know the Skyfall gets a lot of praise and it's a great film and all, but I always feel that version of Bond isn't the same Bond as we saw in the films prior to it.
Sure.
It's he's playing a different character nearly. But this is a return to it, so it's great to see that.
Well, I think this one, you can see he's all of those previous versions of Bond that he has played. You know, like in Casino Royale and Quantum, he's the early Bond, he's rugged, he's rough around the edges. And then in Skyfall and Spectre, he's the seasoned Bond. A lot of years have come between. He is a lot more refined as an agent, but also he's kind of weary and world weary and looking for his kind of place in the world. And then this one is just sort of the cap on the whole experience. I thought he was great. I actually think everyone was great in it, to be honest. I think everyone did a really good job with the material that they were given. Mm-hmm. I think maybe there was only one character that, for me, overstayed his welcome a little bit. There's the character who is a scientist character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And after a while, he really didn't do it for me. I could see other people really enjoying him, but he
felt really out of place. You know, he to me kind of felt a bit like, you know, when they used to do, is it like the Saturday Night Live skits, where they would have like someone like Will Ferrell or fucking Bill Hader or something like that, like dress up, and they'd have a scene from the film, and then they would cut to them, and it's just inserting them into it. He felt like that throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. So,
I felt he was fine until he really served the purpose. He served his purpose, and then afterwards, it just felt like they kept him on, and he didn't serve the purpose. There's a point where he he did his job. Like it's like that's grand. You can get
Yeah.
rid of him now. But then his character keeps going.
He's
and you're like,
he's this movie's Alfred from
I was just
The
about
Hobbit.
to say that.
yeah.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say that.
But it is like, I think he is what makes this feel very Roger Moore-y in many ways, because
Sure.
you would always have that type of character in a Roger Moore movie. You know, whether it's the fucking
sheriff,
the sheriff from the
Man
Live
with
and
the
Die.
Golden
Golden Goal and Live and Let Die, or it was the I can't remember. Is it Rowan Atkinson? Is he in?
He's in Never Say Never Again.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not a Roger Moore one, is it?
It was Sean Connery.
Yeah,
and
Sean
it's,
Connery.
it's not actually
It's not canon.
in the series either.
Or the kind of the weird. Well, actually, I think their Diamonds Are Forever even, but like just that.
Oh yes,
Yeah, just
Mr. Witt and Mr. Kid, right?
yeah. There's always kind of like those wacky characters.
There is.
Well, name
So-
another film with Christmas name a character.
Sure, keep it going.
Okay, let me think of another one that has a wacky character. in it.
Adam
I
thought
actually, and this is not a flex, right? But it's just like when trying to point out, just how much we watch these movies growing up. I am now able to, from the kitchen, if in the sitting room a Bond movie is on, like, and it's mid-movie, like it just happens to be on, from the music alone, like in the background, and I don't mean the fucking Bond theme music. I mean whatever is the music in that movie. I can pinpoint which movie it is and which scene.
I tell you, if you had the original
enough.
film,
Yeah.
on a projector, and you didn't have any sound, and you just had it playing, you would be able to tell from just the crackle of the film which one it is.
I would. It's true. I really would. But actually, fun little story for everyone about the sheriff from Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun that you mentioned. So when they were making Live and Let Die, Yaphet Kotto, who plays Dr. Kananga, is fucking amazing in it. I don't think he gets enough credit as a Bond villain, to be honest.
He's the guy from Alien, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an alien
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And he encouraged the director and the producers to hire like stuntmen of color, to get more like black actors and black like stuntmen in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which they originally weren't going to do. They're originally going to do blackface at that time.
Oh my god.
But he actually encouraged them to get, so they did, and they're fucking great. They're really, for like, especially for like the boat chase sequence. That was really what they were kind of getting at. However, they got a lot of trouble or a lot of hassle from the police when they were filming it, right?
Okay.
Like
Right.
they got some serious kind of hassle from the police about like, who are all these people? Why are you hiring these people and stuff like this? Like really uncomfortable, horrible questions. They were met with a lot of, like they've said it themselves, they were met with a lot of racism while trying to make Live and Let Die.
Right.
Which is always interesting to me because people always point it out and they think it's a racist movie. And anyway, that's a debate for another time.
Yeah.
They made this sheriff character to parody the police
Excellent.
that they encountered, to show a certain the kind of lunacy, I suppose, that they felt they were coming up against while trying to make the movie. And the idea was to kind of make people feel a little bit uncomfortable and to parody the police at that time in that area. The fans loved him too much.
I was just about to say that.
It backfired a little
Yeah,
bit, and
I
then they
can
were
see that.
forced to bring him back
For the
Man
Man
with
with
the Golden Gun,
where he continues
even
to
though-
be racist.
even though that was in another fucking setting, and that was never the guys who were originally created that character. That was never their intention. But it's
yeah, I can see. I was like,
interesting
I can absolutely see people like relating more to him and thinking everything that he's saying is right, and oh, isn't it just terrible that he gets caught and or something happens to him and all. Yeah, I can see how that could backfire. That's awful, but also it's
But
a piece of history, though.
It's interesting how it came about.
Yeah.
And that Live and Let Die is one of those movies that has a more interesting behind the scenes in terms of everything.
That's one of the few, like, if they were to... So, the Craig films tend to touch on Bonds of yesteryear. And in some ways, and then it just kind of explores them in a new way. But it tends to touch on stuff that's already happened. But Live and Let Die is one of those ones where I think they could do a new one of that, and it would work. It would
Well,
really
I
like
certainly
out of
think-
all the ones in the past, I think that's the one that would work.
I think if they were to remake it, what they could do to kind of make it a little bit different, even though it would include a lot of things people have seen before, is actually follow the book quite closely.
That's
There's only
crazy
two
talk.
James Bond books that I've read: Casino Royale, Live and Let Die, and they're the first two. And I'll put it this way: Live and Let Die, it's followed. A lot of it is followed in the movie, but then License to Kill is another one that kind of references that book.
Oh, I see. So like a more of a drug cartel kind of a thing.
Very much so, but
Right.
also things like the fate of Felix Leiter.
Oh.
Is
Oh.
actually what happens to Felix Leiter in License to Kill is actually from the Live and Let Die book,
Very cool.
which is really cool.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's another good one. Man, they're great. Bond is great. I felt, I don't know how you guys felt, but like there's a lot of comparisons you can make with this Daniel Craig era of Bond with Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Right,
there's
that
often the
has
music
those
again.
hits.
Back to music. The music sound a lot like The Dark Knight at some points.
I actually
There's-
think
In that one movie, yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
think Hans, since he has such a close relationship with Christopher Nolan, I really feel at points he was like, when Chris sees this, he'll understand. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he was nearly scoring it for him.
It and actually when that happened and now that's like okay we're going to be getting we're going to go on to another Bond and there's going to be a new era. I just have a feeling that Nolan's probably going to get involved at some point. It's just a matter of time.
I have a feeling he's the next director. I think he's
Yeah.
already lined up. Because I was listening to a podcast and he was being interviewed and he was obviously asked about Bond.
I think I heard that. Yeah.
It is like there's the conversation ever come up. He said, "Yeah, I've met Barbara, and
Yeah.
and they were like, I have ideas. I know what I would do." And then they were like, "Oh, well, do you want to tell us?" And he was like, "No."
No.
And to me, that's like he has every intention of making a Bond movie,
Yeah.
and I think, and maybe people will understand this more when they see this one. But I feel like he wanted to wait until there was a new Bond, so that he could put a fresh stamp, fresh take on it, instead of carrying on from kind of someone else's Bond.
Yeah, which just lets you know that Hans would be involved in.
I mean,
Yeah.
Unless he's busy, he's definitely
he
going to be
should
involved.
be. He should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let's face
100%.
it, Nolan only goes with someone else when Hans is busy.
Well, at this point,
Yeah.
yeah, because he just knows that Hans delivers every time.
Yeah.
Was it Interstellar where Hans Zimmer had no idea what the plot was? He only knew the themes or something, and off that he made music because Christopher Nolan wanted to challenge him or something.
No, not challenging. It's just like you just didn't want him to make a sci-fi soundtrack. You know, he just didn't want it to be like a typical. So he didn't let him know that it was like a space journey, and he didn't let him know that it was about a father and his daughter. He just said it was about a father and child,
Oh.
and he just gave him that much, and that's how Hans came up with it. Then
The man's a genius, isn't he?
Yeah. The music again shows.
He says he doesn't read music.
Hans,
Yeah.
it's a fucking rock star, man. That's why. Rockstars
unreal,
don't
isn't
know. Rockstars don't
I
know
know.
music.
Fucking unreal. Is there anything else non-spoilery that we haven't touched on that you would like to touch on?
Stunts.
Really good.
Because James Bond always deals with real stunts,
Hmm.
this shit's fucking impressive.
Or at least should, because I think if you rewatch Skyfall and then Spectre in particular, there's an awful lot of CGI replacing some real shit happening. Like Skyfall is an amazing movie. I love it, but I fucking hate in the opening that scene on the motorbikes on the roofs every time, and the horrific, fucking obvious green screen. It's really bad. It's really poor. And my mind harkens back to watching Octopussy. And there's a guy actually on top of a fucking airplane for real.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, who did that? How did they do that? A lot of people don't like Octopussy. It has some of the best stunts.
I really liked Octopussy.
And everything. That's a great movie. So yes, to see some of the stunts in this one, fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, like,
And it only gets better too.
in Live and Let Die as well.
Oh, the
Man
alligators.
runs across the backs of alligators.
Yeah.
Obviously, the plane is kind of more dangerous holding onto a plane, but you get ripped to shreds by an alligator.
And Moonraker, they actually went to space.
Yeah. Moonraker.
And
Jesus
Jaws?
Christ.
Fighting an actual shark. No, it's in the trailer, right? So this is not a spoiler. If you've seen the trailers, it's in it. The bit when James Bond is on a bridge and there's a motorbike and a car coming towards him, and he runs and he gets the cable tight yoke and he fucking jumps off.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's real.
Well, I don't know. Actually, that's the only one where I was like, that's the only stunt in the film I don't really like.
Sure.
It feels the most kind of Skyfall Spectre-y, in my opinion, but it only gets better from there. Like,
I mean, a lot of the stunts with the cars
ending stunts are just wow, some really really cool shit. Like almost like to the point where I'm like, am I watching The Raid? Like it's fucking really good.
Again, for the main last sort of fight in the camera work for that is just fucking incredible, and then a lot of the fights.
Yeah.
Now, can we say that?
I don't know.
Can I talk about architecture?
The architecture of something? Sure, of course you can.
Like the architecture of the villain's base, I really loved. Especially.
Well, that's a huge callback to like so many Bond villains.
Yeah, like that. It felt like that, but it also reminded me of like Blade Runner, as well.
Oh
Only that you can actually see the interior in this movie, while in Blade Runner you rarely can.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like the art, the set design was fantastic as well.
Yeah, and so many amazing set pieces, like really amazing. It's a globetrotting adventure. There's a scene in Norway, and when you see it, I thought it was fucking amazing. So, just wait till the fucking Norway scene. So good.
There's a few things in Norway. I'm just not really sure which one you're talking about.
Oh, I can't quite tell if you're serious or not. I can't tell if you're joking. Okay, so before we finish up this episode, then I think a really great way of like rounding this off is to, I want to get off each of you. So I already did it in a bonus. I ranked the Daniel Craig movies, right? So and my ranking was Casino Royale number 1, Skyfall number 2, Spectre number 3, and Quantum of Solace number 4. I'd love to get a pre-ranking off you guys, and then we can all say where No Time to Die would fall inside that ranking now after seeing it.
Okay.
So Eric looks like he needs to think about this, but I feel like Adam's going to be able to rattle him off fucking no problem. So Adam, what would have been your ranking of the Daniel Craig Bond movies previous to this?
So starting with the top.
Well, any direction you want to go. You can go number 4, 3, 2, 1 if you want.
Okay.
He's going to go sideways.
Bottom of the list then.
Yeah.
Spectre, then Quantum of Solace, then Skyfall, and obviously Casino.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue with you about your top 2. I think a lot of people would get defensive about the last 2, even though they all seem to hate both. So just
I remember saying, I turned to Eric, and I think it was at the end, wasn't it, Eric, after we watched No Time to Die, and I was saying that I've watched Quantum maybe I think about 5 times. Could have been more actually, but I definitely have watched it 5 times. I've watched Spectre once, and that was in cinema.
Right, so it's more in your mind, I suppose, like you've no wish to rewatch Spectre.
Yeah, there was nothing in Spectre that would make me do a rewatch. There was nothing in terms of whether it's performances, directing, like whether it's camera work, the fucking music, plot, action. There's nothing that warrants it. At least in Quantum, I'll rewatch it just for that knife fight. That to me is enough.
Yeah, in the apartment.
Yeah,
it's pretty solid. It's a really good fight. There's some great action sequences in Quantum. A lot of people, I suppose, kind of don't even want to think about that because they just hear Quantum and go, blah, I hate that. That was the worst.
Shit plot, great action.
Yeah, there is some good stuff in there. There is. And I personally think there is some good stuff in Spectre too. The fight in particular on the train with Dave Bautista's character is a really good fight.
Did you see the interview actually with Graham Norton that Daniel Craig had?
Yes, Daniel Craig broke Dave Bautista's nose.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
In the fight on the train.
And he was like, "I'm so sorry." Dave Bautista was just like, "No, it's fine," and just fix it. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that was just happened because Graham was asking Daniel about all the different injuries. He's like, "Oh, I had lots of different injuries." He said that the worst one he had, based on, I think it hurt as not like it wasn't the worst physically. So I think Spectre was the worst physically he had, but the one that hurt his pride the most was in No Time to Die, because he said it was just something really stupid. He was like walking along a plank and then he just slipped and fell and sprained his ankle.
He broke his ankle.
Oh, he broke his ankle?
Yeah, he broke his ankle during this movie. Yeah.
Wow.
But in Spectre, like they were rehearsing, he's fighting Dave Bautista on the train, and then he kind of went, "Here, Dave, just you can go a bit rougher, like you go a bit hard. It's okay." So Dave did, but ended up fucking breaking Daniel Craig's knee, and he had to fucking go off after get physical therapy. He had to then do the scene in the brace, and that's what ended up leading to him breaking Dave Bautista's nose. And he said the first thing he did was run off. he ran away because he's like, Dave Bautista, he's a big guy.
But Dave Bautista's great.
Oh,
you always know as well, like he was probably a fucking absolute gentleman on fucking set. Like,
yeah,
he's a really good actor.
Yeah, I wish he was utilized better in Spectre. Me personally.
Yeah, yes. I do think that he doesn't get enough to do. I would agree with that.
It's like he should have been fucking hell, what's his name? And from Russia with Love.
Oh, Red Grant.
Yeah, he should have been that kind of a character more so than an Odd Job.
Do you know that was Robert Shaw?
Robert Shaw.
The guy who hunts sharks in fucking Jaws.
Oh, in Jaws. Wow.
Red Grant.
It?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
He's fucking amazing. Anyway, see? Anyway, okay, Eric, give us your ranking of the Daniel Craig Bond movies.
Right. So you went, your list, you went from best to worst.
I went bottom up.
Well, I originally went bottom up, but just for the recap, I went top down.
Right, so you went top down, and you went from bottom up. I'll go from chronological side to side. So
sure.
That would be... No, not really, because...
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because just... Never mind. Alright, Casino is the... I mean, it's really just going to be the fucking same as you, isn't it?
Well,
Casino,
if it is, it is, yeah.
Casino, then Skyfall, and then, honestly, I don't know with Quantum and Spectre. I really don't know. Because I can't take Dominic Green seriously. And I can never take Christoph Waltz seriously.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I always think Christoph Waltz is going to joke.
Okay.
All the time. I can never take the guy seriously. But then my expectation for Spectre was higher. So therefore my disappointment was greater. Because it's titled fucking Spectre. And they don't do anything. At all. For the whole fucking thing. Nothing. They're not threatening it at all. It's just shit.
Are we ever going to get this list?
So I'd probably put Spectre actually at the bottom with then Quantum above it, just based on the fact that it disappointed me more.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And actually, on that note, no, I won't say anything. Actually, I was going to say something because when you were saying about Spectre not being great and in Spectre, I'll say no more. I'll say no more.
Yeah.
But now, where would No Time to Die rank when we introduce this into our lists?
Probably either. I think I need to rewatch Casino, but it'd be either before or after Casino. It'd be first or second for me.
Wow!
Holy fuck, that's high praise.
Wait, what did you rate Casino Royale?
Casino Royale is also an 8 out of 10.
Hey.
Really?
Yeah. No, but listen, guys, so check that out because you've probably heard divisive reviews of this thing. That's high fucking praise. So
that's huge praise.
Yeah, huge praise. Okay, how about you, Adam? Where do you think you'd rank it?
I'll need to give it another watch. I think initially when I came out of it, I was like, I would probably put it under Skyfall. But I don't know. I think I need to give it another watch. So it's either a second or third place This one.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
in the
kind
same
of
place.
hovering around Skyfall
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah. I'm in the same place. Like, Casino Royale is still my favorite of Daniel Craig's Bond movies, but I need to see it a second time. Like, I've only seen it once. I'm really like kind of high off it. Now I need to rewatch it and kind of maybe be a bit more critical. But it's definitely at the moment on par with Skyfall, which I've seen many times, and it's either going to come just under it or above it. But for anyone who's out there worried about this Daniel Craig outing, I much preferred it to Spectre and Quantum. Much preferred it.
Absolutely.
So it's really fucking good. And I think for most people, it's either going to sit right there in the middle, whether they prefer Skyfall or... Actually, to be honest, I think with most people, it will sit in the middle. I think most people will still prefer either Casino or Skyfall.
I've seen a couple of reviews saying it's not as good as Spectre.
Some people love Spectre. Some people love it.
Shocking.
And it's up to them. That's fine. I know people who think Moonraker is the best James Bond movie. You know, they're off their fucking trolley, but you know, that's okay. Each to their own. But now, guys, we'd love to hear from you. So if you've seen No Time to Die, don't get into spoilers, but just share your general loose thoughts. Yeah, the only reason I said don't get into spoilers, obviously you're not going to spoil on us, but we don't want anyone else, you know, checking this out to get spoiled on, since we kept this non-spoiler. A spoiler talk might come at a later date.
Yeah, we might as well.
Share your thoughts down below, or if you haven't seen it yet, maybe share some of your anticipations, or you know, like what are your thoughts going in before you see it? What's your ranking of the Daniel Craig Bond movies? So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to jump down to the comments to let us know that. Or if you listen to the audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to share your thoughts. And also all your thoughts on all the stuff we brought up earlier on in terms of gaming, Tokyo Game Show, Metal Gear Solid Remakes, Remasters, all that stuff. If you're watching this YouTube as well, and if you enjoyed it, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell. It helps us out a bunch. If you're listening to us on the audio platforms, hit the follow icon on whichever platform you like to listen, so you don't miss the next episode. But thank you very much for listening, everybody. We'll be back to talk to you about more stuff next time.
Bye-bye.